Hi, I'm Jennifer Dolman, and I'm the beekeeper behind Farmer's Daughter Honey. And I'm here today to show you my girls and talk to you about how we keep our bees healthy and happy and how we make some wonderful honey that our customers can enjoy. So honeybees are usually pretty chill, and they develop a very good relationship with their beekeepers. So it's really neat. They actually know my face through the veil, and they'll know me by my scent and my behavior, tone of my voice, and especially my face. So this is the hive cover, and what it does is it keeps the bees protected from the wind and the rain. And this is called a brood chamber. So the bottom chamber is theirs, where they live and where they keep their cupboards. And then anything that they produce extra, they put in the honey supers, which I'll stack up as they need more space. And that's what we keep. So you can see I have a little bit of insulation in here right now for them, just to keep the cool nights at bay. So this is a nice full hive, and today is a nice warm day, so they're not in cluster. In the winter time, what they do is they come together and they'll center around the queen and keep her healthy and warm. And then the other bees all rotate like tectonic plates, and they'll rotate through the winter. So the hive right now is full of honey and pollen, because this is what they need to survive the winter. There's not many flowers now that we've had a frost. So a lot of people don't realize it, but when you see a bee out and about, it's probably female. So each hive has one queen, and she is the mother of all the other bees in the hive. So this is all the honey that they have set aside for the winter. They will open it up. There's a yellow jacket actually that was in the hive with them. They hide because they pretend to be a bee. So that's funny. Like, don't look at me, I'm just in disguise. So there's one queen, and she has males, so those are called drones, and drones don't have stingers. And drones don't do any work. Their job is to be ready to mate with other queens. Queens only mate once in their life. When they hatch, they'll hatch out of the hive, and they'll go up high, high, high in the sky. And there's actually pathways called drone pathways. And the bees know where they are, and they have a memory where they keep track of them. And what they'll do is that queen will go up, and she will try to mate with as many bees as possible on her maiden flight. And she'll keep all their different sperm in different sections of her abdomen. And then she'll go back to the hive, and that's where she'll stay for the rest of her life until she swarms to leave her hive behind and set it up for a daughter. So the drones never do any work. And believe it or not, you'd almost wonder, it's like, well, what's the point of having a drone? Because all they do is cost honey, because you only need so many to breed. But the drones are actually kind of like the cheerleaders for the hive. The bees know that when the drones are around, there's lots of food and resources, and it keeps everybody happy. And it shows how diversity is so good. In the fall, when the winter comes and we get a frost, the drones come to go home one night, and suddenly they're not welcome, and they're left to die because they're not needed for over the winter. There's no other queens going out for breeding flights, and the bees need to make sure that the whole superorganism of the hive can survive. So when I'm looking at the frames right now, by the way, I'm looking inside, and I'm looking for signs of disease. So bees get diarrhea just like people do. You can see that on the front of the hive. I'm also looking for, again, if it was the summertime, I would have baby bees and eggs to make sure I still had a healthy queen. So what I do is I'll come and I'll check the bees every 10 days to 2 weeks and make sure everybody's doing well down below. And when I'm checking, I have to take the honey supers off, which look just like these. It's just inside. The queen can't make it to them because I put a screen across. The queen is a lot bigger than the worker bees, so she can't fit through while the worker bees can. They'll go and they'll spend all this time looking at flowers. So a bee will travel millions of kilometers in her lifetime looking at flowers or bringing pollen back and nectar back. The pollen is the protein source, so it's really their power bars, and that's what they use to feed the baby bees. And then the nectar from the flowers, they bring that back and they turn that into honey. And that's what they use for themselves to eat. So honey production, again, you would actually be using a honey super, but they've all been removed for the season. So the frames that we have the brood in are actually the same type of size that we would have for the honey supers, just the honey supers have never had baby bees in them. So because I'm not going in very much, there's a lot of propolis, which is bee glue. They're very good at filling in the gaps. So it just takes a little more time to get in right now. So you can see this is absolutely full of honey from end to end. Some of the honey is open and there's the pollen. You can see the orange pieces in there. So that's the pollen, that's actually their protein source. The honey is their carb source. And so the carbs give them energy, the protein helps keep them full. So they need to be eating both over the winter. This honey is going to sustain them over the winter. So when I do the honey process, the bees would be gone because I have a way to get them out by using a barrier. And so what I just do then is I'll take a hot knife and I'll just slice the top of all the caps off and they fall into a bucket and that wax gets made into beeswax later. And then I'll do both sides of the frame. And then I have a big spinner vat called an extractor that I'll put these in, and I can do 10 of these size at a time, and I'll actually just spin the honey right out of them. It's very simple. And then it just goes straight into through a filter just to make sure there's nobody wants any bee legs or anything like that. Sometimes that happens. Or pollen pieces in their honey, unless you want honey that's got pollen pieces. And so then it goes straight into the jar. It's really simple. Like, honey is about as simple a crop as you can get. So you can find Farmer's Daughter Honey and many of our products at farmersdaughterhoney.com, as well as our Facebook page. And we are blessed to have many local community supporters in local businesses, which can also be found on our website. I also do deliveries in the Douglas area, and I have no problem shipping.